Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2025 release Good Boy. It's a Shudder original and it's coming to Shudder on Friday, November 21st. So this is a no spoiler review. So this one has been hyped a lot. There's been a lot of PR out there for this film. I've gotten so many emails from Shudder going back months on this film. They're really pushing this one. So out of the gate, I'm going to tell you, I do think it's worth watching. I don't think it's like the best film out there. I'm not going to rant and rave about it being unbelievably phenomenal. I did enjoy it overall, and I'll give my rating at the end. But I do think it's worth watching because it's something different, at the least. Plus, everyone should see how they feel about it. There will be people watching this review who are like, I thought it was phenomenal. And that's great. I thought it was good, though. But another thing I'm going to say is, on the same day I'm releasing this review, I'm actually going to try something new and also release a video with this that is me reacting to letterboxed reviews for the movie. Because there are some, I just want to highlight like some that I found that I found kind of humorous. So I just kind of wanted to point those out and also just react to them. So you can check that video out as well. And please let me know, is this something you find interesting? Should I continue doing that type of stuff? But just something new I'm trying. Anyway, let's talk about Good Boy, directed by Ben Leonberg. This is the individual's first feature film, which I will say, for a first feature film, really good start. Really, really good start, especially from the aspect of how it looks. It's shot very well. You would think that, well, the film is from the perspective of a dog, and you would think that that would be really hard to film for actually numerous reasons. One being getting the dog to cooperate, although it seems like this dog is very well behaved. Indy is the dog's name. And two, getting the right shots, because you need to be like down on the ground with the dog a lot of times, like from his perspective, if the film is from his perspective. And so it, like, conceptually, before seeing this film, I was thinking, like, conceptually that seems like very rough, like very hard to do. But I think Leonberg approached it really well and made it look quite good from that perspective. This is written by Leonberg as well as Alex Cannon, who wrote Natural Causes. I haven't seen that one, so I don't know anything about it. Again, Shudder original, coming Friday, November 21st. Synopsis. I don't want to give much away, so I'm not going to give you a whole lot as far as synopsis goes. Like I already said, it's a horror movie. It's told from the perspective of a dog. Obviously, the dog has an owner, so it's kind of about the relationship between the dog and the owner. They move into this house, and there are things happening that are horror-related, and that's just where I'm going to leave it, because honestly, I don't want to ruin much of anything for people who want to watch this, and like I said, I do think people should watch this and support it. B, there isn't a lot of story to the film, so if I give some stuff away, it's going to give way too much away, so that's it. That's all you get for the synopsis. Okay. The dog in this, Indy. It's named Indy in the film, named Indy in real life. Pretty good name for a dog. Very cute. Shows great emotion right out of the gate. No problem getting the audience to identify with loving this dog as the main character. And that's one of the things, is a lot of times with films with the main character being a human, you have to find a way for people to kind of like glom onto them, to feel like they identify with them, to root for them. And usually that's through some sort of story like, oh, they're having a tough life, or they're a good person, or, something like that. With just having it as a dog as the main character, pretty much everyone just likes animals. So immediately you're just like, oh, look at this sweet, innocent little dog. Of course I'm all in for this dog. Of course I want this dog to save the day and live till the end, which I'm not going to tell you if he does or doesn't die. So, because that would be a spoiler. But anyway, yeah, I just think from that perspective, it is a baked-in good thing to use a dog as the antagonist. I was worried about the dog's perspective aspect, but very early on it feels like it actually works. Yes, and part of that was being what I was talking about before, like getting the actual right camera shots, because conceptually it just felt like such a weird thing to pull off, but it works. It works really well. You don't see people's faces. You will see you will see two people's faces in it. But for the most part, for the majority of the film, you're not really seeing people's faces, which when they choose to show one of the faces, I think it works. But I think it helps to kind of focus us even more on the dog itself. It's shot pretty well, but it is overly dark at times, especially early on in the film, and then it actually does it again at the end of the film. But then it's kind of like in the middle, there's some really cool lighting that they do. So, I don't know, it's kind of like this mixed bag where, like, certain scenes I was like, you need to light this better, and then other scenes it's like, yeah, it's lit fine, and actually the lighting looks really kind of creative and cool. Like getting some really cool shots based off where they're lighting, like some cool backlighting or using a candle for lighting and how they set up that shot. Like, so it's kind of a mixed bag. It's not consistent all the way through with the lighting. So there's lighting issues, and then there's lighting that's really awesome in the film. So it's a mix. But this goes back to me saying this is the Leonberg's first feature. That's a great starting point. Like, you're not going to be perfect, and there are a lot of good things here, so it does make me excited for what this individual will do in the future. Overall, the acting is well done, especially Indy the dog. Indy is great. You know, I saw a lot of people online saying this is the time that we need to be having Best Animal Actor for the Oscars. And yeah, I mean, I think that that's worth it, in my opinion. It would certainly be something that would draw people to watching the Oscars, because people really don't at this point. I mean, I know there are some people who do, but there are a lot of people who do not. But it would draw extra people, especially the animal lovers. The pacing of this film is kind of slow, but given the perspective, it doesn't seem too mismatched for what you're experiencing, because knowing that it's from the dog's perspective, you're going to just have things go a little bit longer at times, especially because you got to kind of let the dog work through some things. So the pacing inherently isn't the best, but what I will say is they also did not stretch this film for runtime, which is phenomenal. It's not an hour and a half or anything. It's an hour and 13 minutes with credits. So bravo for not feeling like you needed to stretch it. Because that's one of my biggest pet peeves with films nowadays, is they're like, it's got to be at least an hour and a half, even if I just need to put a bunch of fluff in there. So kudos to Leonberg for knowing what to do here and not giving in to this whole, oh, it's got to be an hour and a half, you know? I applaud the runtime. Oh, yeah, literally just talked about that. There are some pretty creepy visuals. They're not like a ton, but there are some moments where I was like, ooh, yeah, that was a really good one. Part of it having to do with the lighting, part of it having to do with the makeup and costuming. Yeah, some pretty good creepy visuals going on there. Some pretty solid atmosphere that ends up getting built up. And I think part of it is, especially when they have like darker scenes and it's the dog, like, and it seems like it's more of like a desolate setting, it makes you feel even more fearful for the dog and for the dog's safety. And like I said, like, pretty much everyone who watches this is going to be hardcore rooting for the dog. So yeah, I think that stuff does work. Having an animal as the main character makes people care even more for its safety. Yeah, I kind of already talked about that. And there are aspects of this movie that will hit some people emotionally. I mean, if it has to do with an animal, yes, you know, and especially like the relationship between an animal and its owner, yes. I mean, I felt it a little bit, not like a huge degree, like I know some people probably will, but it's also a situation where I'm a cat owner, not a dog owner, so maybe it would have been a little bit different if I was a cat owner. I will say I got really, really emotional watching A Quiet Place Day 1 because of the role of the cat in that one. Oh my gosh, that destroyed me. So yeah, I if I was a dog person and a dog owner, probably would have hit me even more. But anyway, overall, I thought it was a pretty solid movie, especially for how experimental it is. I would give it a solid 3 out of 5 star rating. Would love to hear what other people have to say. We can talk spoilers in the comments. That's cool. Put it down there. Please do me a favor though, if you like this video or any video I've ever done, please hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up on this video, and hit the notification bell button so you know when I'm putting up new videos. And if you want to get a little more involved because you appreciate what I'm doing here, you can throw me a few dollars each month, a very small amount, for some perks with the channel. There are 3 tier levels for memberships. There is a link in the description so you can check that stuff out, and I do appreciate that stuff. But you can look at it as like tipping, basically, which I think I also have like a super thanks or something enabled where you can do that. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep it brutal.